Hey everybody, this is Nancy from New Travel Escapes, and we try to keep you as up to date as possible every time we travel through the Cancun airport. The Cancun Visitax has been changed and updated again, so we want to let you know all about it. If you've watched our last video about the Cancun Visitax, you will likely remember that this tax has been implemented poorly, very poorly, since its inception. It's a new tourism tax that was implemented by the Cancun government in 2021, and it applies to anyone visiting within the state of Quintana. The Cancun Visitax is known by many different names, and as I said earlier, it's been so poorly explained or enforced that it seems as if it's just a huge scam. It is that ridiculous. Well, they've added to its ridiculousness yet again. They brought in a whole new website and scrapped the old one. They also increased the price from 241 pesos to 259. This personally drives me crazy because there are so many scam websites out there that tell you you're paying the visit tax, and then it turns out they're paying it on your behalf and charging you a bunch of extra fees rather than the $15 it actually is. Add to the confusion and the price increase and a new website, and it's no wonder people are wary of this. Now, I don't know why they did it, it doesn't matter anyway, I'm just telling you what has changed. As I mentioned in the last video about this, they've also been putting into place Visitax payment machines in the departures areas of some of the terminals. Not all of them yet. Again, the implementation of this is not very well thought out, in my opinion. So in some departure terminals you will see Visitax payment machines, and in others they don't have them in yet, much like the e-gates. They've also put up digital reader boards explaining about paying the Visitax, and these are located on the screens in the baggage claim areas. They talk about COVID, monkeypox, Visitax, and other things to be aware of, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to put up the new website and the QR code so you can find this information yourself and not get scammed by the other websites that make you pay more than you should be paying just for them to do you the service. It is still only randomly being asked for at the airport, so some people pay it, some people don't pay it, and others still don't even know about it. Nonetheless, it is a fee that travelers must pay when arriving or departing in Cancun. Although it feels like a scam, it is actually real. The tax is mandatory as it is backed by the state government in Article 51 of the tax law of the state of Quintana Roo. Visitax is not the same as the airport use fee or the Mexico tourism tax or even the environmental tax collected. It is in addition to these taxes, and not paying it is considered a breach of the law. And a record of payment is linked to your passport, which means whenever they do start to crack down on enforcing it, it will not be that difficult. The Visitax is intended to provide funds for environmental preservation and improvement projects in Cancun. This includes projects such as beach cleaning, sea turtle conservation, infrastructure improvements, and the implementation of sustainable tourism practices. I still haven't heard any reports about tourists being punished for not paying the tax, but with the install of the Visitax payment machines and now the new government website, it is highly likely that officials will become strict about their enforcement of this tax payment. I mean, they have to get their money back, right? I don't believe that they would be putting money into these things if they weren't planning on enforcing it. But it's been so loosey-goosey so far, who knows? Don't get me wrong, I don't care whether you pay it or don't pay it. Some people pay it, and then because they don't get asked for it, they think it's a scam. I can't say that I really blame them for feeling that way. In my experience, when a government brings a tax into law, they're quick to enforce it or even backdate it in order to get all of their money. This tax from the state of Quintana Roo doesn't seem to operate that way for now. For our team, we have decided it's better for us to pay it than deal with the fallout if we don't. And let me explain why. Payment of the Cancun Visitax is linked to the passport of the traveler. When travelers pay the tax online, they are required to provide their passport details. Then they're issued a QR code to download and keep on your phone. The payment is also linked to your passport number, so when the traveler arrives in Cancun, they have to present their passport either to customs agents or the electronic gates or e-gates, and because the tax is linked to a traveler's passport, it will automatically show proof of payment of the Visitax, either at arrival or departure. This means that the Cancun government can flag your passport for non-payment on past trips. It did come into law in 2021. I have not heard that they're doing this, but I know our government does not hesitate to backdate stuff to get more money, so I expect that it's possible that as a frequent traveler to this part of Mexico, they could perhaps deny me entry until all back taxes owed are paid. And I, for one, am not going to risk it. We choose to pay the tax online rather than using the machines at the airport, but at the moment, both of them are options. For us, we now ensure that we paid the tax before our arrival in order to avoid any complications or issues at the airport. Much less stressful for me to know it's done in advance rather than having another thing to think about. Except, of course, when they go and change the website on me. So now, let's have a look at how to pay the Visitax online. The new official website to pay this tax is at www.visitaxqr.mx. Here's what it looks like. I want to mention that when we were in Cancun in May of 2023, the website was the old visitax.gov.mx, but it changed in June of 2023 to the visitaxqr.mx. Personally, I like the old site better as it included the Q&A portion that answered some vital questions such as how much, who does it apply to, etc., etc. Now, on the new website, you have to scan your passport, whether you do it online or at the airport. We paid it online using our visa before we depart, as we like to have the backup, so to speak, of the visa name in case there are any problems that arise. You can also pay in person at the new kiosks, as I mentioned, but because of the nature of this tax, I hesitate to pay it at the airport, so I personally haven't done it yet. The kiosks only take cash, and you're required to input the same information as online. This would be most convenient for people without a credit card or those who don't want to use one. At the time of this video, the tax is 259 Mexican pesos or about $15 USD depending on the exchange rate for every traveler 5 years of age and older. Like any government operation, there is always the option of them increasing this tax at any time, so make sure you're up to date on the Visitax cost. Once the payment is made, you will receive a QR code or confirmation number. Although it's linked to your passport, I suggest keeping it handy just in case you need to show it again for any reason. Be careful about using other websites. There are a lot of other sites out there that will pay the tax for you and generate a QR code. It's a great service, but if you look at the fine print, they charge you anywhere from $25 to $50 administration fee to do this for you. Yes, they may add additional perks such as a discount here and there, but I suggest you ensure that you are on the new official government website because I don't recommend paying more money than you have to, but you do you. There are 42 countries that have a similar tax system in place to combat over-tourism and prevent environmental damage. For now, Visitax is applicable to anyone staying in the Quintana route area, which is Cancun, Riviera Maya, Playa del Carmen, Cozumel, Holbox, Tulum, Costa Mujeres. You get the idea. Whether any neighboring states choose to implement a tax like this is anybody's guess, but this tax only applies to one Mexican state so far. Airlines and travel companies are not including it in their prices. Why the resorts aren't collecting it, I don't know, but someone in their wisdom thought collecting it at the airport with all of the other hustle and bustle and stress that goes on there was a good idea. If anybody knows, please comment below. This Visitax is one of the most badly implemented taxes I have come across in a long time, and I can totally understand why many people just choose to ignore it and deal with the fallout if and when it ever happens. We too thought that it was a scam for a while, but in conversations with those who know Mexican laws much better than we do, we now pay it whenever we visit Quintana Roo. In our many visits to Cancun since the Visitax became law, we've been asked to show proof of it a few times, and many other times no one's asked us anything. In the grand scheme of vacation costs, it's not one of the larger expenses. Again, I've not heard of travelers being reprimanded for not paying it so far. But with the new e-gates at the airport, as well as the Visitax kiosks being installed and the brand new website, I believe that enforcing payment of this tax is going to get stricter. I might be totally wrong. They will invest in kiosks and put the money into a new website and still never actually enforce payment, but I want to let you know so that you can do with this information whatever you want. It is the law in Quintana Roo, and our take on it is that we are guests in their country, so whether I feel we can get away with not paying it just doesn't sit right. So we choose to pay it and focus on the fact that it's supposed to support various environmental preservation and sustainable tourism practices throughout the region. Again, you do whatever you choose to do. Makes no difference to me, but I promise to keep you up to date on any changes that are happening in and around the Cancun airport when I notice them. So that's why I updated this video again, to give you the latest information as I get it. Our team is back again in 3 weeks, so we'll see if anything has changed yet again. I hope that helps update you on the chaos that is the Visitax and helps you feel better prepared for your Cancun vacation. And you're able to get through the Cancun airport as quickly and efficiently as possible and onto your chosen resort with a margarita in your hand. Thanks for watching, everyone. We have several all-inclusive resort reviews coming up on our channel. We pay for all of our own trips, and resorts never know that we make videos about our experiences, so if any of that is of value to you, please consider subscribing to our channel. We have about 6 new resort reviews video coming up there in queue, so stay tuned for those, and we will be back next week with more new travel escapes. Bye!